consider. If Fire Chief Robert Williams would come up, please.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for being here this evening. Again, being a firefighter for 24 years, I will not forget what happened on September 11th. And I just want to thank all of you for being here, our distinguished guests and our dignitaries. Without your support, without your resources, we would not be the organization we are as a fire community. And so just thank you all for being here today, for remembering the loss that happened on September 11th. Today we're brought together to honor those who paid the ultimate sacrifice on September 11, 2001. While this is the 17th year anniversary, the wounds of the day are still fresh in many of our minds and our hearts. Those images of the firefighters running to those buildings, and police officers and construction workers and just ordinary citizens running to those buildings to help out is forever etched in my mind as a firefighter, as a fire chief. We know that 343 firefighters lost their lives. They did so trying to save others, and they saved thousands of lives. We talk about the ones that's lost, but they saved thousands. Because of the horrific event that happened on that day, police departments and fire departments are better equipped to save and to render aid to our citizens that are in need. On this day, we remember the 343 firefighters, the 60 law enforcement officers, the FDNY chaplain, and an additional 2,977 lives that was lost that day. We keep them in our hearts and our prayers and their families. We're always praying for them. We pray for those firefighters every day. I heard this morning that over 10,000 firefighters are still stricken with cancer since that event. So we keep them constantly in our prayers. So I want to thank all the Orlando firefighters and OPD officers that joined us this evening, and their families and their friends that pray for us every day as we put our lives on the line to protect the community we serve. So God bless you all. And God bless America. And I'd like to bring up Chief Ron Meany.
Yeah, thank you, Chief. I think it's no secret that police officers and firefighters have this, needless to say, friendly little rivalry. But whether you carry an axe or handcuffs, when it matters, we work together as a team. And I love our first responders, police officers, firefighters, because they're committed to something greater than themselves. They're committed to the safety of this community at risk to their own lives. So on behalf of the Orlando Police Department, we are proud to stand side by side with our brothers and sisters of the Orlando Fire Department and pay honor to those who lost their lives on September 11th, 17 years ago. We're also here to say thanks and give respect to the men and women who are charged with keeping our community safe. The ones that ran towards danger, and our first responders who go out every day and risk their lives for this wonderful community. Our hearts go out to the friends and families of the victims lost on September 11th. And our country mourns them every year, but we can't possibly know the pain the families go through, not only on this day, but think of all the birthdays, the holidays, anniversaries that pass each and every year without their loved ones. So here's a quote from President George W. Bush on the night of September 11th. He said, "Terrorist attacks can shake the foundations of our biggest buildings, but they cannot touch the foundation of America. These acts shatter steel, but they cannot dent the steel of American resolve." In closing, we commemorate and salute the bravery of all the men and women who risked their lives for our safety, and their sacrifice will never be forgotten. God bless all the victims that died on that day. God bless their family and friends. God bless our first responders, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief Meany. It's been our tradition in the City of Orlando Fire Department that we remember the 343 FDNY firefighters and officers that were lost on September 11th, 2001 by lighting a candle. Each one of these men that were taken from us on that day is represented by a red candle. and 1 white candle for FDNY chaplain Father Michael Judge, who was the first reported death on September 11th. We also remember the 60 police officers from both the New York Police Department and the Port Authority Police Department who died while saving lives at the World Trade Center with blue candles. These candles represent men who showed the world the true meaning of bravery, honor, courage, and love for fellow man. Would the honor guard please come up and start light the candles, please? This time I would like to ask Lieutenant Dan Taylor and Firefighter David Torres to memorialize 2 FDNY firefighters.
Good evening. My name is David Torres. I'm a City of Orlando fireman currently assigned to Tower 8. And I have the privilege and honor of talking about John Napolitano of FDNY Rescue 2 Lieutenant. So I'm privileged to have a brother who works in FDNY as well. He's currently a company officer for Ladder 131 over at Red Hook, Brooklyn. And I gave him a call. When I called him, I asked him about some of the fallen firemen from his firehouse. And he was telling me great information. He was telling me great things about them. But for some reason, this childhood friend of his came up, John Napolitano. He actually grew up with the gentleman over in Long Island, New York. So he kept, yeah, Long Island, that's right. So he kept talking about him. So I chose him to talk about today. John was actually born in New York City and ended up moving to Suffolk County, New York, and Long Island. He was an extremely bright guy, scored extremely high in the SATs. He could have had the college of choice, wherever he wanted to go. But when his father asked him where he wanted to go, all he told his dad is, "Dad, I don't want to go to college." He said, "Why not?" His dad, "I'm not interested. I want to protect life and property. That's what I want to do with my life." So rather than going to college and wasting the time of the instructors and wasting the seat in his perspective, he decided to start taking firefighting classes at the age of 15. And by the age of 17, he ended up becoming a full-time volunteer firefighter for Lake Limon Fire Department in Long Island, New York. From starting from a firefighter all the way up to the age of 33, he worked through the ranks, and not only that, he became the fire chief. Not only that, he became a fire commissioner at the young age of 33. While he signed up for the FDNY test, he was hanging around doing classes. He actually became an EMT and a state certified paramedic in New York. Other than that, he was a rescue diver and obtained a lot of technical rescue courses to help him out with his future with the fire department. So a good childhood story my brother told me actually was they were actually sitting down at the dinner table one night. Just a normal talk, family having a good time on a weekend evening. And he made an announcement. He told the whole family pretty much he had 2 job offers that week. He had one job offer with Suffolk County PD, which at the time was paying double the starting salary of a New York fireman. Retirement was way better, and the commute for him was only 10 minutes either way. And at the same time, the day before that, he got the call for the FDNY. He got accepted for the next academy class at the Rock. So when his father asked him what he wanted to do, he looked at his dad and said, "Dad, I'm sorry, but I'm a fireman." He didn't even think twice about it. The pay didn't advertise it. It was the courage and the brotherhood that he wanted to be into. It was his passion that drove him. So in 1991, at the age of 22 years old, he joined the FDNY. Went through his probationary stuff, and then from there, as a firefighter, made it to Rescue 2. Rescue 2 is located in the Crown Heights section of Brooklyn. It was founded in 1893. That's only a couple years after OFD was founded. Rescue 2 is made up of very senior firemen. They have a lot of skills, a lot of knowledge, a lot of wisdom. To be able to get on one of the SOC companies, which stands for Special Operations Command, not only do you have to interview with the rescue company officer, the captain, right after your interview, you're going to go downstairs and all the firemen are going to throw you through some skills. And if you don't perform that day, you're going back to your firehouse. If you pass that day by everybody, and if they like you, from there is when you can go to the chief interview with the SOC commander and the actual company officer you're going to work with. If they approve you then, they're going to put you in your firehouse and they're going to give you a tryout for a couple weeks. You got a couple weeks to prep. If they like you, you stay. If you don't, you get shamed back to your firehouse. Rescue 2, the main job is called FAST up in New York, which in the South it stands for RIT, Rapid Intervention Team. So when the civilians call 911, they call the firemen. If the firemen get in trouble, they call the rescue. The rescue is the one that goes ahead and saves the firemen. And the rescue doesn't call anybody else from after that. The rescue's it. If they fail, we all fail. He was a highly decorated firefighter within the FDNY and Lakewood Fire Department. He held multiple medals and awards that he actually kept in a box and never actually wanted to actually wear on his coat. The reason being because he was a humble man. He didn't want to have to show off his craft and didn't have to feel the need to show off everything to the public. If someone asked him, obviously he would talk about the story. A very friendly guy, very humble. But he would rather keep it to himself and for his own personal memories. There was a fire once in Brooklyn that it was all hands working fire. That means every company there was working. As they were responding in, they actually had reports of building collapse, and a couple of units were actually got trapped. So rescue went straight to work. As they went straight to work, they're all around the rubble piles, reaching through, trying to get firemen out. And that's where he obtained his nickname, Snake. They called him the Snake because he looked so slender and so skinny. When he went through those rubble piles, he was the only Rescue 2 fireman that could make it through some of them. And he actually was highly awarded that day, in Medal Day, for saving multiple firemen that night in that building collapse. Not only was he an amazing fireman, he was a friend. Not only to my brother, but he was also a family member. He had a wife who was his high school sweetheart, Anne, who was in marketing agencies. He had 2 daughters, Elizabeth and Emma Rose. When he passed away at the age of 33, they were only 6 and 2. And a typical fireman. Ended up saving a cat and a dog from the fire, brought them both home, and they were his house pets. The cat was Ember, and the dog had to be Smokey, right? Altogether, in his line of service, he did 16 years with the Raleigh Fire Department and a total of 10 years for the FDNY. Currently, his parents, which lived in Long Island, they retired and moved 2.5 hours south, and they currently reside in Palm Beach County. He made a great impact on the fire service. He's done many things for all firemen around the United States. He's never going to be forgotten. And when we roll through those calls, those are the guys up there at 343 are going to be looking over us, protecting us. Let the 343 keep running. Thank you.